The way the festival actually got started, the four of us come and looked at this land in 1986, and it belonged to Dwayne Crank at the time, which was one of the partners. We hadn't formed anything yet. We were just speculating what we might do. Lyle Gadel was a salesman for me at the time. Being I had the home improvement company, Lyle was going to be the manager of the event and do the booking. Lyle was a dreamer. He would come up with some good ideas, but my response was, do you know how in the hell much money it would take to try to pull off an event, let alone purchase the land and all that?
He came over and talked to us one night about it. Of course, we thought he was completely out of his tree, but we said, well, we'll think about it. And a couple of weeks later, my husband said, maybe we should have Lyle come over and talk one more time. So he did, and we decided that sounds like a good idea. Let's try it. So we had the man with the idea and the man with the land. Now we had to find some money, people.
And Ronnie, he was a farmer, and he also worked for the state of Wisconsin. Dwayne Crank owned this land, 160, and the 160 on the north side. And Dwayne was also kind of a silent partner because he was busy farming. And then from there, we talked about the fact of bringing Nashville to this area. I always feel I've been kind of an entrepreneur, but I just couldn't see how to raise enough capital to get this off the ground at first. We checked with the local authorities to see if there was any regulations or restrictions against holding an outdoor concert. And at the time there wasn't. As time went on, when we had about half the lineup booked, we found out that there was an ordinance. So we had really an uphill battle. They weren't going to give us the permit. We purchased this land from our fourth partner, Dwayne Crank. And once we purchased the land, about 3 months later, we were informed by the state of Wisconsin that the land was in land preservation. That put us in a bad position for about 3 or 4 years. We were threatened by the state that we were going to be shut down. We had a lot of hurdles. That barn roof that you can see over here to the southeast, we purchased that land, 120 acres, in the event we had to move this festival.
We used Mike's office to start with, and there was his wife, and Lyle's wife, and Ronnie's wife, and myself.
We had, and I remember very distinctly, 666 campers, which really, when I look at it today, was really a pretty good turnout for the first event. Our lineup the first year was $150,000 for all the country stars, which consisted, I believe, of 12 artists altogether.
One morning I got up by 6:30 and had to shower and get down to the office by 7. And it was during the fest. And I walked out of the bathroom, and there in my kitchen stood 2 guys. They were so drunk, they didn't know if they were foot or horseback. But I come around them and I said, what in the hell are you doing in my house? And I said, you get out that door, you get out that campground where you belong. So that was one incident, but we never had any problems.
It was a lot of fun, and people left in good spirits. We tried to make everybody go away happy, and I think we accomplished that, because the next year I think there was like 1,300 campers here. Mudfest was really a big setback for us. It was probably our closest breaking point.
The mud years, the people just loved it. They'd go down to the top of the hill and slide down the hill in the mud. They talk about it, there was fun. For us, it wasn't so much fun.
So we literally pulled every car and every camper in. Wednesday night wasn't too bad. Most everybody got in okay. bearing in mind that we didn't have any gravel roads. And by Thursday night, we had cars backed up as far as, and this was for the country show, as far as Jim Falls. And I remember talking to people that were pulling in. It took them 7 hours to get in. We got a total of 10 inches of rain in 4 days. We had bumpers that got pulled off. It was terrible. It was, I think, Wednesday before we got everybody out of here. And so it was pretty devastating. And when we had our board meeting, shortly after the event was over, I kind of made up my mind as far as my own feelings that if we didn't gravel and put in roads, there's no sense of having another event. There was ruts that were a good 3 foot deep. I had my 4-wheel drive tractor up here from my farm, and there was mud up in between the frame and the oil pan. That's how muddy it was. I started getting prices on graveling, taking out the black dirt, putting in permanent roads, permanent gravel roads. And it came to within $25,000 of $1 million. And we didn't know if we would even be able to borrow the money, you know. So we went down to see the local banker, and to our amaze, he took the credit of the 4 of us, and to our amaze, we got the loan. We now have 22 miles of gravel roads. As we put in the roads, the word got around, and we had a good turnout the following year. So people really came back and supported us. So when we went to start Rockfest, we were a little concerned if we would get the permit, the license for it. We had a meeting, us board of directors had a meeting, and I said, well, I'll call Chippewa County and see how much hassle it's gonna be, you know, to get a license for a rock event. And I called them up, and I got a call back about 4 or 5 minutes later, said, Mike, if you guys want to hold a rock event, a job you're doing with country, we're not concerned about that. I said, you're not? No. So that's how easy it was. I guess our track record kind of helped us out a little bit, you know? And there was 1 year in there that I said, boys, I think we got enough left for a steak dinner, to take the wives out for a steak dinner. And I believed in developing the site the very best we could with the money that we had to work with. And we felt that would grow our fan base, and then worry about the money later, worry about the income later. So the 4 of us threw in all the money we had, and little by little, we finally made it.
And we worked our butt off for many years to get it to what it is today. And it takes a lot of people to do that.
I think I was 62 years old. I told the board, I want to retire. I kind of reached the age in my life that I was getting everything done. We were still growing, but I knew it was time for some younger blood in there to do a better job, to keep expanding it. Because I didn't have the drive anymore. I just didn't have the drive. When Wade was, I think, about 11 years old, 11 or 12, he took over running the stagehands from my oldest son, Chad. He was a little driver. He was a little go-getter. And then I believe about February of 2010, I started training him and taking him into Nashville and learning the ropes the best I knew how. And then I ran the next festival with him by his side. And then when the second event come, I said, it's all yours. I'll be here. If you stumble, you know where I'm at. It made me feel really proud. Really proud. He grew up with the event, you know, in the sense of the word. He grew up with it. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of bases to cover when you, just booking the talent is a lot of work. Part of the commitment when I was managing it for the first 25 years, and Wade's commitment too is, if there was a structure that needed to be built, we were responsible for getting it done. Physically, that has changed now in the last couple of years some, but we were physically responsible for hiring the people and being actively involved in it because we knew how to build. And so it's a big responsibility. It's a lot of work.
Oh, we go from a very small office to a very big farm field, you know, to these festivals. We go from 7 full-time employees to 1,800 in a weekend. So that's something that they wouldn't know. It's a massive, massive operation to be able to pull these events off.
He's really done well. So it just really gave me a lot of pride and a good warm heart to feel him doing the job that he's doing.
The very first country festival 35 years ago, I was literally knee-high to a grasshopper, as my grandpa would like to say, and I sold booklets for a quarter. Walk around selling little booklets and pamphlets. I had a little lumberyard nail apron on and selling the crap out of booklets. Cute little boy, everybody's gonna buy a booklet from me, right? So that was the first thing that I did, and then I moved up into helping as a stagehand, and then I was stage manager for a very long time, and then and that was just on the part-time scale. We had the new main stage in '99, and Motley Crue and all those people came. The amount of equipment that we put on that stage was mind-blowing. And the amount of things that we had to do to make sure that show went off was absolutely mind-blowing. We worked 24 hours a day. Literally, we tore down the last act of the day before, and we started setting up at 3 in the morning for the next acts for the following day. I still wear a lot of hats. If a toilet needs to be fixed and it's broken, a lot of times I'll just go fix it, you know, so I take care of all the waterworks and all those types of things as well. So I have a lot of hats, and only one can fit on my head at a time, but I feel like there's always more up there. I have a vested interest in my heart because I, you know, help build something that's so amazing. These festivals are way bigger than any of us, you know, by far. So when that conversation came up, and when Dad was saying, I'm gonna retire, and I'm going to sell my shares, and I you know, spoke up, and I just said, would you be open for an opportunity for me to do that? You know, because those festivals are my heart. I've been a part of them all those years. I have all the stories. I've seen all the things. You know, it's a part of my history. You know, and pride to carry on something that my dad created. Words can't express that.
The fans are wonderful. I mean, I love to hear stories from them.
People coming back. That's everything. Just to focus and watch people have fun and enjoy it. And see people that come from different states and meet up, and they become best of friends. And they get them same campsites next year. That's the beauty of it.
And who would ever in a million years thought we'd still be here?
We used to do weddings on this stage. We used to get the DJ the groom-to-be to propose on stage to it, and she didn't even know it'd be coming, you know. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful memories.
So my favorite thing to do is to literally sit at the back of VIP and just people watch and watch them have their best time of their life. Watching them smile, watching them have a good time.
I always said, keep your full-time job, partners. This might make it someday.
Rock Fest, where we just rock. Come and enjoy.